Good morning, everyone. It's Mr. Burns from my classroom A110 here in January of 2023. I just wanted to share with you some information about Unit 5 vocabulary, the legislative branch, and you probably have this document open, except there is a QR code here on your screen. You will be doing 14 words today in this unit, and then our unit, we always combine Unit 4 and 5 in terms of the assessment. So we'll have a quiz coming up on the due date that is posted in the classroom and on Schoology. All right, let's look at the words. We have legislature, bicameral, biennial. We have bill, ordinance, commerce, and revenue. And we have delegate, foreign policy, interstate. And then we have impeach, mandate, or override, and regulate. And here is the presentation that I'm going to go through. All right, so the first word is legislature. You're going to see a lot of forms of that word: legislature, legislator, legislate. And it all has to do with making laws. So all those are either a person making laws, or in this case, a group of people making laws. The governing body is a legislature. All right, second word is bicameral. Bi meaning two, so cameral meaning parts or sections. So bicameral, consisting of two parts, just like our Congress has a House of Representatives and a Senate. And our General Assembly in Virginia has the House of Delegates and the Virginia Senate. These are bicameral legislatures. All right, third word is biennial, and this is how often the governor will create a budget. So the General Assembly has to approve the governor's budget every 2 years, biennially. All right, next word is a bill. A bill is not a law yet. It's the rough draft. It's like, if you're writing an essay, it's like the first draft, the first copy that you're going to go through and you're going to edit and you're going to improve until it finally is finished. And that's when they'll vote on it and pass it to the executive to sign it into law. An ordinance is a local law. So this is something that just deals with either the county or the city. These are very minor things, usually dealing with noise ordinance, like this example, or parking, or, you might see a sign that says, no skateboarding in this plaza, and that would be like a local ordinance. Okay, next is commerce. Commerce is another word for business or trade. And one of the powers of the legislative branch is to regulate interstate trade, which is trade between states. And then revenue is the next word. Revenue is money that is earned. And usually, we talk about revenue, you talk about a business, but you can also talk about the government with tax revenue. How much revenue is being generated, and then what are they using that revenue to do to provide for people? So that's revenue. All right, delegate is the next one. A delegate is someone that represents a certain group of people. It might be someone who is selected to do something or elected to do something. We have a House of Delegates in Virginia. Representatives in Congress are also delegates. They represent a certain section of the population. Foreign policy, how does our country deal with other countries? And that is one of the powers of our national legislative branch creating, and our executive as well, as creating a foreign policy. The next is interstate. I already mentioned that one. Between states or across state lines. So anything dealing with multiple states and how they interact with each other would be a power of the legislative branch, because it's a national power, federal power. It's not a state power dealing with multiple states. All right. Next is impeach, and this is one that's a little bit challenging. We'll do a little mini lesson on impeach, but it's not actually removing someone from office. It's actually just the act of charging a political official or member of the government. Could be an executive, it could be a legislator, it could be a judge, a federal judge, with a crime. So it's the act of charging them with the crime. They vote in the Congress, and then in the House of Representatives, and then the Senate kind of acts as the jury, and they need a 2/3 of majority to remove. It's very rare. A mandate is an official order to do something. One thing we've seen in the last couple of years is mandates for vaccines, COVID vaccines, in order to join, or mask mandates. It means basically the government is telling you have to do something in order to use a service. To override, we're going to talk about vetoing a bill. A veto is when an executive cancels a bill. Override is to cancel the cancel. So Congress passes a law, the president vetoes it. Congress can override that veto, but they need a 2/3 vote in both houses. So it's very difficult to override a veto. And then regulate is the last one. Regulate is to manage, to set rules for, and a lot of the policies and the actions of Congress are to regulate certain industries and certain businesses, make sure that they are meeting minimum standards or setting the rules for them. Okay. All right. So again, go back to your document. What you're going to do on the document is you're going to drag and drop one of the pictures. You're going to come up with a synonym for each of these words and either an example or a sentence for each of these words. And there's 14 of them total. If you have any questions, of course, let me know, and I hope this video was helpful.